Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Gupta, and my esteemed colleagues, first of all, I must thank US Consulate and Satyabai for giving CINI Child Institute an opportunity to present some of the thoughts on trafficking persons. And I'm also going to highlight some of the tested models that have worked on the ground, which may be considered for some of the ideas that may be taken forward. As Chairperson has rightly mentioned, some of the ideas how that can be translated into action. So my presentation will be focused on West Bengal and Jharkhand. And why I'm speaking on these two particular states, because all of us know that there is a large issue of trafficking in this eastern zone. Unfortunately, we had the last PIP conclave in northeastern region. Now we have the eastern region. This is quite a context from that perspective. So I'm going to really focus on the trains of migration. That's my theme. And in the context, how this migration is linked to trafficking and child marriage. And I'm lastly going to focus on the child trafficking issue. Second part of my presentation will be focusing on the initiatives in West Bengal and Jharkhand. What has been the efforts of civil society with the government and the law enforcement agencies, how that really worked on the ground or may not have worked on the ground. And some of the ideas that can be taken forward while you're looking at the set of recommendations for TIP conclave. So as you all know, there's a huge challenge in the eastern region. And it's a very coincidence that in the trade and economy and the policies that our country is looking at in the new government, we're looking at look east policy. And I urge that the eastern zone is also need a look east policy for counter trafficking. And Jharkhand, West Bengal and these other states, that is actually in the eastern zone, and they need a specific focus in the TIP conclave. The reasons are very obvious, and this is in the slides. There's growing conflicts, man-made, disaster, climate change, all of that. This is pushing people to out-migration and becoming victims of trafficking or vulnerable to different sets of exploitation and abuse. So, and most of this migration is happening in the young people. And therefore, even the demand side of trafficking are largely focusing on the young people, particularly young girls and young women and young children. So how do we look at the issues of livelihood and also educational support for the young people to be the safety net at home? And these are the primary causal factors we often say in our anti-trafficking language. The other important challenge is the failure of safety net. And the safety net is, in my understanding, is defined at three levels. One is at law enforcement level, the social security level, and also the community safety society level. And all the facets of the safety net, perhaps all of us are party to that failure process. So we need to acknowledge, so we need to strengthen the safety net. And my previous speaker also looked at, emphasized on the prevention aspect of it. If you look at that perspective, the safety net is the core. Most of the trafficking program so far is response driven, which is essential, which is victim centric, which is rights-based. At the same time, I think it's a time to take a call to invest more on the prevention strategy and building the safety net, looking at the accountability of rights-based approach of the victims and the vulnerables. So from that perspective, these are very important issues. The primary safety net at home and family and community is an essential core for trafficking agenda. And the sectoral failure has obvious repercussions of child marriage, which is in the disguise of trafficking, forced labor, and domestic help, and so on and so forth. So all of us know that. So child marriage is a gateway to trafficking, and Jharkhand has the major data. All data speaks that child marriage is the gateway to trafficking and domestic help. So if you look at the eastern region particularly, half of the young girls are basically in the, getting married before 18. And a lot of them are landing up in terms of unsafe migration and landing up in the trafficking victims or some other exploitative situations. So these are very obvious reasons. Data speaks in volumes. Even if you look at the child labor data, the note that we have received, nearly 200,000 children are victims of child labor, and most of them are victims of trafficking and unsafe migration. So these are very much, statistics speaks in volumes. The failure of safety net, both at family and at school. Our government in Jharkhand has really taken a major initiative, and some of them are really on the ground, particularly the anti-human trafficking unit, and thanks to Dr. Nair, whose brainchild has really on the ground now. And these are set up in different districts. But one thing is very important, only anti-human trafficking has to really converge with the juvenile police unit. Now, Dr. Nair has spoken about the convergence issue, but even with the anti-trafficking program, the law enforcement agencies program, that is also departments and departments and departments. I've been talking about two law enforcement agencies have to come together. Juvenile police unit is actually in the back seat, while anti-human trafficking on the ground. Can we bring them all together? And the Jharkhand government has already taken initiative in many districts. Districts are already there in the slides. The department has taken initiative to develop a set plan of action, but unfortunately that has not been officially released. I heard that there is a draft ready, but the draft has to be really pushed forward, and there's something a practical idea to take it forward. There is also an initiative of missing child alert. All of us know there is also another initiative of missing child alert system by Plan International, which is a technology-driven idea which is being now tried to add values to the Track Child portal. Now, Track Child portal is already there. On the top of it, we have a missing child alert system initiated by CINI and UNICEF. So there are initiatives. There is also in the child protection sector, we have, which is part of the juvenile justice system. There is a district child protection unit, which are already being rolled out by the State Department. Now I'm looking at West Bengal, another eastern states. We all know that West Bengal also has a large share of trafficking. And there's a recent study by Plan and CINI on the missing child alert system. This also gives a data that there's a very red zone in terms of trafficking, and there are very disturbing trend that tourist spots are coming in the rural sector, and where trafficking is really going to go in a big way. And there are very, very big signs like that being, for example, the Kuchbihar, the North Bengal side. So there is a huge trend that now tourist spots are not only the city based or the popular tourist spots. There are also small rural tourist spots are coming up, which are maybe a hub of source or even for destination. Now, how do we handle that? The idea is to really looking at safe migration. Now, how the safe migration can be built up in the community as the demand supply side. So, the safe migration is not only looking at the just safe migration system in the immigration department or in the police systems, but it has to be built up in the local governance structure. And there are initiatives already in different states, including Jharkhand. In Jharkhand particularly, the Kunti and Gumla, the districts under the ILO program, Work in Freedom, to which CINI is a partner. There is initiative to develop the community-based systems for reporting and also the prevention strategy and awareness strategy. So safe migration and community as a part of community safety net is a brilliant idea. The Work in Freedom program of ILO is now being rolled out with CINI in Kunti district, and there is very good progress in terms of engagement of the ward level committee and the local governance structure, and there is a progress in it. These are some of the districts that we are working, Rajib, Kuti and Gumla, and there are initiatives in terms of the district administration, the labor department, and there's a session already that we get to hear a lot more about it. But I think there is a very important initiative to really look at women, decent employment of women, and prevention of domestic health and security, the safe migration issues. Is a very critical prevention strategy in order to look at the prevention of trafficking issues. Some of the pictures you can see which are already worked, how the communities are engaged, the local district administrations are engaged in taking up migration issue in the context of trafficking and domestic health. Some more initiatives, technology has been talked about. There is a very important initiative that we have taken up as a corporate social responsibility as a public-private partnership model of Girls Power. As I said, that young population are in a large chunk of victims of trafficking. The Girls Power is a technology-driven digital technology application of basically looking at the young adolescent girls and create an alert and alarm system. So this is being piloted in partnership with Accenture, and the technology is designed to create a pilot in the school, in school adolescents and out of school adolescents in two districts of West Bengal, which are known trafficking prone districts, Southern Pokhara and Murshidabad. And this has been creating a very important information in terms of the vulnerability of children and also the issues of movements of the young trafficking victims. And this has created a lot of results in two districts of West Bengal. We have mounted this in 200 schools in West Bengal. And what is the value proposition? There is no alert system in terms of adolescent girls at the moment. So this G-Power technology provides some solutions at the moment, looking at in-school adolescents and the children who are not in school, particularly the young adolescent groups. So this has really created some kind of responses in order to prevent early marriage, trafficking victims, and also the child labor. These are some of the impact. Nearly 7,000 vulnerable young families of adolescents have been identified, and data have been collected on a specific vulnerability indicators. And also the baseline is conducted in terms of their vulnerability issues, both in terms of health issues and also the vulnerability of child marriage and so on and so forth. There is already outreach program, and this is in partnership with the local school. It's a convergence with the school system, it's a convergence of the WCD services for the children, particularly the surplus program. So this has really created a system-driven approach, and there are nearly 3,000 children, vulnerable adolescent groups have been outreach. And there are also rescue of children from child marriage and trafficking. And 15 cases have been settled through the adolescent peer educators, and they have been linked to the services like Childline. There's another thing we are looking at, child-friendly police station. Now we are looking at AHTU. Now AHTU can be further expanded, covering the child trafficking issues. I spoke about special juvenile policing, which is defunct more or less. We all of us know it's on the paper. Can we bring this special juvenile policing in AHTU and create a certain kind of women and child-friendly police station and create a benchmark, looking at justice delivery, looking at investigation, looking at reporting, looking at even the FIR, which is the Supreme Court mandate. Can we really think of something putting together as a combined, convergent law enforcement actions? And this is being initiated in one of the police stations in Diamond Harbour, Southern Pargana, in partnership with the police department officially and also the child services. We often work in tandem, and I think this is a good opportunity to bring convergence within the police systems. Another important thing, this entire issue of police, civil society, and the law enforcement department particularly, they need to bring together certain kind of convergent action in terms of safe migration legislation. Very often what happens, the registration of potential migrants are not being done, and therefore we often find that young people get land up into trouble. So one of the ideas is to create a registration system, and that idea can be linked to the panchayat and the local police station. So this has been piloted in one of the experiments. So looking at all of that, what is the big agenda for us? I think there are three big agendas. Now, for the first time, we have heard about child-friendly cities idea. Our government has been talking, our Prime Minister has spoken. We also have been talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, and looking at TIP agenda. So how do we really create the big agenda? Can we really look at TIP in the context of children and let the mandate of child-friendly cities of the government, which is part of smart cities concept? Can we have a very concrete idea and actions which are on the ground to look at migration and child-friendly issues as a big agenda? So that's my submission to consider, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haldar, and a very enlightening discussion. And we'll do a review. Now I'm going to invite our guru, Dr. Nair. But before I do that, Dr. Nair is the person from whom we have heard so much, and he's single-handedly responsible for bringing the sensitivity in the police department at least. I want to mention one little incident about him. I'll just take a minute. I remember many years back, he told us a story about a young Nepalese girl who was brought into India and how she was trafficked. That girl had come to see her mill. I can never forget that story. And a similar story I heard where a Bangladeshi girl was trafficked and caught in Bangalore. And there was a meeting in MHA, and the secretary asked, okay, Mr. X, the police officer, where is that girl now? So this fellow says, madam, this girl is in jail. How come she's in jail? She's the victim. Why did you put her in jail? And she entered the country illegally. So we arrested her under the Foreigners Act and put her behind. Then Dr. Nair got up and said, look, a girl who has been exploited can never be a criminal. She's always a victim of that. So that is the one single thing which I would always like to think that I learned from it. So I invite Dr. Nair, please tell us about their widespread experiences in the field of human trafficking.
Namaste, Johan. Respected Chair, respected dignitaries on the dais, respected ladies and gentlemen in the group. I made some points in the morning, so I don't want to repeat them, even if they come. The topic assigned to is working together combating human trafficking. What's the number? General trends in human trafficking. We have seen across the, I think earlier speakers also, they mentioned about this increase in spread and intensity, new forms and varieties. सुनाई पड़ रहा है ना ठीक से? आवाज आ रही है ठीक से पीछे? New forms and varieties may be unnoticed. I'm very happy Mr. Haldar spoke about the new trends. I don't know how many of you are aware of trafficking for Naxalism. Trafficking for Naxalism, Naxali बनने के लिए trafficking. Trafficking for surrogacy. Trafficking for militancy. You are experienced for. You will be able to, my friend, a lot of police officers here in disguise. Many of them disguise here. Our senior most Pradhan Sahib is also here. Yes, I salute you or the other lady officers here. So the point is, they will give you examples and examples of trafficking for militancy, surrogacy, sex, Naxalism, etc. Naxalism means, for those of you who don't know, it's a left-wing extremism, a serious issue in this part of the country, and we have seen so many women and children, girls especially, being trafficked in Naxalism. They are sex slaves, physical slaves, emotional slaves, and all sorts of slaves. It's another interesting dimension there. Then open and disguised forms of human trafficking. We talk about the general trends, recent trends. Trafficking under the garb of migration, major issue from Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Major issue, trafficking, migration garb में जो trafficking होता है. Numbers have gone alarmingly. We don't know the numbers. I'm very happy to hear the estimation from Mr. Biju, how he spoke about the percentage, 71 profit. I was very fascinated to hear the study he did. I don't know the methodology used. It's very interesting. Need some more study from you. Transport issues have become complicated. Nexus is showing up. Nexus. I don't know how many of you are aware. Kerala government had a case of trafficking into Gulf countries in the form of migration. Domestic workers migration. 33-year-old woman going there. Suddenly one woman was brought there, rescued, and found she has been trafficked. Now that investigation led to 170 women from saying the adjoining villages in Kerala, educated state, God's own country, landing up there, all other sexual exploitation. Uske investigation was CBI to go investigation. I was talking to the CINI the other day, and he said investigation they investigated into one police constable. यहाँ तो naturally senior officers do the investigation. Kerala में educated fellows है police constable भी करते हैं. Police constable 3 years service has only 55 lakhs saving in his bank. Police constable 3 साल नौकरी किया है, 55 लाख की उनका बाकी है बैंक में. गरीब आदमी है, 55 लाख की है. 55 लाख बनाए कैसे from this business of Nexus? I tell you, it's mind-boggling the amount. If you actually go into that, I'm very happy Aradhana Singh and Mr. Pradhan are doing investigating into the important case of Pannalal here. I was told it's something around 9 crores visible asset of one trafficker from this place, right here, right under our nose. All of us have been watching this fellow making money. Are we feeling ashamed? Not feeling ashamed that we have been watching this fellow making money and building estates here? They say visible assets is 9 crores, means how many million? What are we? 90 million. 90 million Indian rupees assets of one trafficker who has been trafficking women and children from this part of the country, Jharkhand, into Delhi and other places as domestic help during the last 7 years. No, visible assets is 9 crores, which Mr. Pradhan has taken initiative to get the assets confiscated. I salute these guys, wonderful work they are doing, commendable investigation they are doing, perfect monitoring, perfect supervision. That's what investigation is. Now, invisible assets. There is something. Invisible You be the whistleblower. आप इनको notify करिए, प्रधान साहब, मैडम, अनुराधा जी, यहाँ का उनका asset है, यहाँ मकान है, यहाँ उन्होंने invest कराया. Get that information passed on to them and see the difference. They can make a wonderful difference. We have to get this fellow convicted. We have to get the assets confiscated and get the money back to those poor girls. There's no amount of compensation can get them back, but still that's what we should do. I was telling the DGP yesterday, police chief here, another wonderful officer, and take this as a test case against the whole of India, where you get conviction short time, where you get confiscation short time, where you get compensation short time, and see how the model works out. I believe Jharkhand police can make a great difference if this case can be followed up. I'm sure they will do also. Then the news, the next is showing, I mentioned about that, forced labor has reached disaster level. Yeah, computer there is a screen here. Sorry for that. Can you put a screen here? No, not possible. Not able to see to the side. It's okay. Leave it here. Leave it. Oh, band ho gaya. Huh? Stop. All right. Involvement of legitimate agencies in the illicit trade. It's a very interesting phenomenon I've noticed in the recent past. We are students of anti-human trafficking for the last 40 years, 36 years. I mean, this mission. 36 साल से यही काम कर रहा हूँ, student है, even now I feel. The recent trends I have noticed, legitimization of the illegitimate. Makan बना दिया, and you think it's a legitimate business, and a lot of placement agencies, real placement agencies, notified because our income tax, sales tax, commercial tax, all numbers are there. And all numbers are there. So a legitimization of the illegitimate is a very interesting feature which you have noticed. Then the facade of legitimacy. Why facade of legitimacy? It gives you camouflage, perpetuate, so you can perpetuate, go on perpetuating because legitimacy is visible there. You can hoodwink the public, you can give and deceive the vulnerable, you can make illicit money a generation faster, and of course convert black money, white money, all these 9 codes, you know what it is. So Mr. Pradhan could lay hands on wherever the money was given cash. That's visible. Now, whatever has not been given in cash, whatever is not visible, nothing comes up there. That's where they need help. So, legitimization of the illegitimate. I mentioned earlier also about the islands of excellence. हम ये नहीं बता रहे कि हिंदुस्तान में कोई काम नहीं हुआ है. हिंदुस्तान में काम हुआ, बहुत अच्छा काम हुआ, बहुत बढ़िया काम हुआ, झारखंड में भी हुआ. पूरे हिंदुस्तान आप देखेंगे, इंडिया देखेंगे. We have seen commendable work and outstanding achievements we have seen across the country. We are very happy Mr. Haldar spoke about the AHQ, etc. General concern among the stakeholders is generally increased. People have appreciated and started realizing that every which mamra hai. Just murder is not an issue, rape is not an issue, trafficking is also an issue. People have started realizing. Stakeholders realizing that it is their business to prevent and combat. Police may be, we have did a research for the Human Rights Commission in 2002, we found 94% of the Indian police officers were not ever trained on anti-human trafficking. 94%. How do you expect them to do that? Today things have changed. Today if you go to Jharkhand and you can see at least 20, 30, 40% of them must have been trained in the issues of human trafficking. Much more to do, but there is an increasing awareness. Intermittent media attention, intermittent. All my media friends is that you apologize to them hopelessly bad. I don't know why when something else comes up, you have a 9:30 super time and hyper super time talking this question. The whole world wants to know, all of India wants to know, speak on this issue. Why don't you speak on this issue of trafficking also? When a big man's car gets stolen, it becomes a news. You keep on discussing, the whole of India wants to know. When women are rescued, when these people are vulnerable are rescued, why that is not a news? Pick that and get that in news. My request to my media friends, put that into the super high time. We need to do that. Then the PIL has made a difference. I would say administrative inaction, political inaction, both which ho gaya. Therefore, suddenly the courts have come up. And I'm very happy that many of the people who are in this room have been instrumental in taking this mission forward. Missing child issues by the Bachman Bachao Andolan. I'm going to mention a few names. I know I've missed out a few names from this very same hall. Again, videos Manjula Churu kar diya. SOPs on training manuals, BBA, Shaktivani, etc. Domestic workers' rights, Jharkhand, Shaktivani is also fighting there. Rights of alienation before police, Bihar case, and many more across the country. So public interest litigation public interest litigation has come to be a very important trend, important matter in the whole of India in improving the response systems. I'm very happy to see at least there things have changed. Now, as Haldar mentioned, anti-human trafficking unit, I take pride in saying that the first AHTU was set up by me in Andhra Pradesh in 2007 when I was serving the UNODC. Swasti is there, my good friend. We set up together in 2007, Swasti Rana. And that AHTU means it's a comprehensive unit. AHTU क्या चीज़ होता है? Comprehensive unit. Police वाले, prosecutor, NGO, एक साथ लाके bring them together, give them a vehicle, give them computer, give them cell phones, give them resources, give them training, give them orientation, and tell them you now deliver this, deliver. We tell them now it's time to deliver. We make them accountable. Accountability factor is a very important issue. When I heard Mr. Anurag Gupta talking about the deliverables and measurables, ASTU as a clear conscience, clear component of what needs to be invested there, what outcomes and outputs. There is a clear deliverability there. We set up 9 ASTUs in UNODC, and all 9 ASTUs were mentored, very important word. I'm not talking supervision, mentoring, hand-holding. Tell them, keep doing them, keep working with them, go around with them, sleep with them, work with them, and serve them. That's all. Went on and on. So all the 9 AHTUs made tremendous impact. Are you aware? Till 2005 in India, no customer was arrested. Customer, I quote the word because customer is the one who creates demand. Customer is the one who perpetuates demand. Customer is the one who violates. So he is not a customer, he is a criminal, he is a rapist. So we changed the paradigm and made the people change, and people started prosecuting the so-called customers. We have customers, prosecutor of 2005. There is a law, Indian law says, a place of exploitation can be closed down by an executive magistrate, not even a judicial magistrate. 1956 law, but no implementation till 2005. You may be surprised, but that's the truth. And 2005, when the UNODC started our program, and suddenly you find now so many, 140 place exploitation goes on in Andhra Pradesh. So many in other places, Delhi, so many places. How did the same law in the statute in 56, same police officer, same prosecutor, same judge, same magistrate, and after 2005 mein kya kiya? That's what is called capacity building. It's not training. Capacity building can make a tremendous impact. Same prosecutor, same police officer, same law, made a change, a paradigm shift. We have seen the help seeking and untrained behavior in place, conviction of traffic cases in few states. I would say few states only, not across the board. Andhra is a classic case where we have something around 120 traffic cases convicted today, all after 2005 and 10 years and above. Delhi also you have traffic cases convicted. Goa you have convictions. Very few states have. West Bengal has. Then a conviction of, then rehabilitation packages across the country. Mostly NGO sponsored. Outstanding models have come. You can see on the website. Very interesting classic cases. Not standalone. They are all institutionalized. Now. And then skill building program. Where is Sanjay Mishra ji? A skill building program. Sanjay Mishra started something called a skill building program for the so-called Naxalites or women who are trafficked in Naxalism or likely to be trafficked. He has made them security guards, masons, carpenters, etc. with the help of Jharkhand police and CRPF. It's a commendable initiative. Instead of going and fighting with them with bullets and blood, we thought we fight Naxalism without bullets and without blood. That's very interesting. It's a human rights paradigm. Fighting left-wing extremism without weapons and bullets, and we could succeed in the mission. It's understanding them, giving them training, giving them skills, making them employed, and giving them a life of sustainability and dignity. Lastly, I will come to the point of challenges are many. Last but one, challenges. The plan of action commitment of stakeholders as a group fizzles out. We have such vibration in the room. We have something around 150 people with so much experience, maybe minimum of 20 years, 3,000 years experience in this room. इतना एनर्जी हुआ सब चर्चा करेंगे पर हाथ से निकलने के बाद हवा निकल जाती है. यहाँ से निकल गया हवा ही निकल गया. क्यों? Why fizzles out when we go to the moon? Why it doesn't sustain? How many of us get that energy? चलेंगे कुछ करेंगे और करते हैं. You ask him how many police officers to fight him? but उसके बाद भी दोस्ती है, झगड़ा करते हैं, उसके बाद चलो बांटा ले चलो. That's how the Shakti Vahini is. I've seen the model. You know, you have to get to the mission, get moving. How many of us have that sustainability factor within? Very important. Second is law enforcement.